Hello everybody, this is Lee Phillips' Journey of Truth. It is Saturday, August the 23rd at 10:20 in the morning. It is 72 degrees, overcast, and it has been drizzling and a little rainy this morning, but not too bad, just enough to wet the ground. And so while it's not raining, I thought I'd walk around and give y'all a weekend update of how everything is looking. The pond is looking absolutely wonderful. Can't wait till next spring to set my lounge chair out down there and have a nice spot uninterrupted by trees to lay out and get a tan. Didn't get a chance to lay out as much this year. I've got surgery coming up on the 29th, so I'm gonna be out of it a little bit as far as catching y'all up on what's going on, but I'm gonna be a fighter and I'm gonna fight back hard, and I'm gonna get back to moving and stay moving, because we all know when you stop moving you go downhill worse. So I'm gonna keep on fighting to stay moving to the best of my ability. And I'm already breathing hard, and I ain't hardly been walking that much. But yeah, the way they got the hay bales over there seem to have done the trick. The rock that they put on this side where the culvert drain comes out right there, and they replaced the rock in the middle that had got washed out, and they got those fixed. But I would still like to see a rebar hinged and locked cover that goes over that hole right there. That is such a safety hazard for children to be open. I think that we really should get something on that. But that's the only problem I see with the Bobby Boss Bikini Bottom Wildlife Refuge. I noticed there's still some geese in the area. Maybe with a little water down here, maybe they'll come back and hang out here for a little bit. But there's we got a deer that comes out of the woods over there and comes over and I guess eats on the new grass that's growing and stuff, and many people have observed it. I've seen it. It's a huge one. Doe. So we got all kinds of wildlife in downtown Loganville. Now let's take a look at the drains that were put in on this side. There's a little bit of debris washed in around that one, but it's not completely washed in. There's residual water on top of the ground that's not making it into the drains. And let's see. Yeah, that one's not stopped up. And like I said, that looks like just residual water, because it ain't rained enough for water to run down the roads and all, because if it did, it would have that filled up have their yard filled up over there. But it's just enough to get the ground dry. This one looks good. And these they've redone. If y'all saw my last video, you can see how that they did the curbing. And so they have the silt fence up around the curbing, and they have rough landscaped all of this over here. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I'm liking it more and more. The more that they get done, the more I'm liking how that it's gonna turn out and look. I just gotta be honest. Change is not easy, change is painful. But change is necessary. You cannot grow without change. And so from right here, they've still got to get the curbing in up through there. But from the other side, they've got that landscaping roughed in. And I can just imagine when they get done rough landscaping this side. I don't know how this landscaping, I didn't see anything carved out for a sidewalk to go in here. I know they've got the curbing carved out. They've got the curbing carved out over there and got it carved out over here. Now, they've got that dirt up pretty high. They've got the dirt almost over the height of the curbing, and that might be a problem when they take the silt fence away. So let's walk around this way, and then we'll come back down around Main Street. That way, when y'all look at all the videos, you can see the progression by me going the same way. So I'm really liking how this is looking. And they got their fence back up right beside the curbing, so it'll stay up until the whole project is done. That way the site can stay secure. So yeah, you can see the difference in the landscape and how much better that looks down there as compared to where they haven't done any of the landscaping. I'm liking the layout of the landscaping. I'm going to be interested to see how this comes along up here. You can see the stakes with the pink on them. That's where the curbing, that's where the curve of the curbing is going to follow that path going around through there. Very beautiful to look at, but man, if you got a wooden fence, those vines will pull your fence down. They'll pull down a metal fence. The vines can be very aggressive. but the blooms are absolutely beautiful. Let's get a close up right there. All right, and we got another group of them right here. Holy cow, it growed into the silt fence. Now this pit area is supposed to be a upper retention pond. I think they're gonna dress it up and make it look real nice. And that'll probably be real good because the geese still like to come and gather in this field right here that's between the library site and the Baptist church. They like to come here and feed on the grass. And they used to feed on all the grass that went all the way down to Covington Street down through there, but now this is under construction, so maybe that'll give them a water source that'll be right here that they can come to. So we're going to come out here to the Main Street side. And so they've still got all the fence down through here because they'll pour everything down through here and going down Covington Street to finish that off. They'll probably do all that at one time. And then I don't know who comes in and does the actual walkway. But it'd be nice to have the walkway down through here once the curbing's done and be able to walk all the way down through here, and then they could have their privacy fence right beside the walkway. I'm gonna let these cars go by right here. We got a break in the traffic. We're gonna slide right down through here. So yeah, I like the looks of the progression of the site. My opinion, folks, I didn't like it when the trees got took down, but I was here and I saw the condition of the interior of those trees, and I'm a carpenter by trade, and I knew those trees were unsafe for people to be under. They would have had to come down because of being a safety hazard, because of the deterioration of the base and the interior of the trunks. I didn't like it, but it was a necessity. And there's still opportunity that we have in our downtown. All that up through there whether it be they come up with a 2-story parking deck design to have more parking for the downtown or whatever, there is still opportunity. So I want to point something out to y'all about the elevation of our main street. If you see up there where the white building is, and I'm going to try and hold my camera level about, now this is at the top of my head. I'm 6 foot, and this is about where the top of my head is, and that's about even with the sidewalk up there. That's about where that pole is right there. If you put a straight level line down Main Street, that's where that line would be at. Right here at the intersection, the road would be 4 foot higher than what it is. Now, with that in mind, woo, Popo gonna get him somebody. Yes. Alright, so we're gonna keep talking while we're going up through here. If that road surface was up that high, you see this road height here could be taken down a little bit, and you could actually have this roadway going underneath Main Street for small vehicles. You'd have enough room for small vehicles, no box trucks, no high trucks, just small vehicles. And then you could take all this property and you would have enough height from the height of where Covington Street is to the height of where Pecan Street is. You could have a basement under the ground floor. And then you could call it, which would be an attraction for Loganville, Underground Loganville. And you could put a nightclub in there. You could have other businesses, fooderies and things that there's enough room to do that. And you could also have buildings on top that have shops lined up all the way down through here. And there could be a second level to those first floor buildings so that you could have people on the second level, which would be like an upper boardwalk, and you could have it to where the people over there could still feel like that they were right on the green when we have our concerts and things. It would open up the downtown. That underground park would run under this lot here, back to Pecan and back to where the gravel lot stops. That area would be underground Loganville, and the street, Main Street, would run level all the way up to the other side of the library where the banner is hanging on the pole. We would have a level Main Street. That would give our Main Street wheelchair access to all the shops that are here, because the sidewalks would be redone and raised up that 6 inches so that now our sidewalk would be even with the thresholds of the doors, and we could have wheelchair access to all of our buildings downtown. But that's something that takes a lot of money. So now now we are here at 254 Main, and they have been working. I'm telling you, it was so hot the other day, and they were out here and they were working. Now folks, I know a lot of y'all are upset about this being put in, but I live right there, and I'm gonna tell you, it is much better looking to look out and see these features on this lot than when we looked out and we had the containers and all the construction stuff. And before that, when the old building was here, which I loved, it was a great old building, but the lot looked dilapidated, yes. But this is not a bad idea. At least it will be something that will draw people's attention, and they will start asking questions. Wow, what's that all about? Are they going to do another movie here? What's happening there? Is the lot for sale? Yes, that's the main question. Is the lot for sale? And if it's for sale, why can't we get some flashy for sale signs and put them all the way up the edge of the sidewalk, from there to there and from there to there, going to the corner and then going back that way a little bit, and have some for sale signs around the edge, so that way developers or people of interest coming to town that might see them and say, hey, let me go ask the city about this property. And maybe somebody will have an idea that will be a good idea for this property. But we got to get them to look at it. Now, all this stuff that you see can be taken up just as easy as pie. It's not waste. All it is it was moved from one location to another, and so it's being put into use. Recycling what we have, however we can. Now, yeah, my idea for underground Loganville, that's a lot of money, and it would require that the landowners on Covington Street would sell their property, because their property running down through there would then be the open courtyard for the underground Loganville part. It wouldn't cause the destruction of those trees. I and others like the plan of the small cottages that has been proposed to put down through there, as long as they're in equal contrast to the antiquity of the older homes that are on Pecan Street. I think that it would be another good idea if this side of Pecan Street, because it only goes from there to down there, that this side be named East Pecan Street, because it is east of Main Street being the center point of the town. And this sign here and the others down through there should be Pecan Street West. Because I'm gonna tell you, there's a lot of Uber drivers and delivery drivers and everything that Google gets things messed up. And there's a lot of excuse me. I'm talking too much. My morning coffee's aggravating me. There's a lot of drivers that come to the street here looking for a location that Google Maps has sent them here, and it is nowhere close to where they should be. And so can't always trust Google Maps. But I've got ideas, but they take money, and for a developer to get into that, see, now that would require all of the main utilities that are on Main Street to be redone that are underground. And while you're at it, you might as well put all the power utilities underground and have access to the buildings off of Main Street through a access corridor that's in the sidewalk. Very easy to do. You can get rid of all these poles that are down here with lines crisscrossing back and forth. It's just the craziest thing. This line comes from the power right there. It comes across to that pole. It goes over to that pole and then back to this pole right here, and that's it. And that's to serve this little 4-pole area right here in town. This is ridiculous. And all these cable lines, they can be put in underground in the same utility channel. So easy to do. We get all of our infrastructure, sidewalks and everything fixed, and we start from the red light and we come all the way down through here, all the way up to the hill right there, because it's almost a completely level shot from down there to up there. We could straighten out our town. Yeah, I know, I ain't got $1 billion either, but man, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice? Well, folks, I'm happy with it. Anything is better than nothing, and because it's not all disposable, it can be moved somewhere else. I think if we can just get some for sale signs posted down the edge of the sidewalk when they get done with all the sod and all, I think that would be great. And maybe get a coat of sealer on top of that wall so that the paint doesn't fade too bad, and we can preserve it until such time that that building no longer exists. Maybe. Something to think about. Alright, y'all, well, I know y'all just love my long videos, so y'all remember, be safe out there, be good to one another, do something kind for someone, and y'all have a blessed day.